Hello, everybody. This is Gilbert Burns, and I'm here to share with you a few thoughts regarding faith and how powerful it is in our life. And one of the things that I've learned throughout my years has been that faith has always been the basis to how I function in life. And there is no way that any persons can function without faith, because faith is a actual principle, a rule of thumb when it comes to getting things done. And so I want to read a scripture to you from Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse number 15. And it says, "Take us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes." And this is taken from Solomon, who is David's son, who had some very well rounded thinking for a period of time. And then it went haywire for some time as well. But thank God he came back to his senses. So, herein, I want to discuss with you what is important for you to know regarding faith and some of the things that want to spoil that type of action in your life. Now, God has from the beginning, he established the premise by which we're to function in this earth realm, and that is predominantly to live by faith. And faith's motivation should always be that of love and trust. Now, here's what Proverbs 3:5 says: "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding." And verse 6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path." In the realm of faith is always the means of creativity. In the realm of fear, there will be a depletion of it. In other words, there will be a deterrent of you being able to focus on what you desire to accomplish in life. It's crucial for us to understand that as you press toward things, that you will be opposed or face opposition to those things, which in some cases, depending on where you are and where your mental stamina may be, will determine how you address that. You're going to address it from either the place of being defeated or the place of winning and living victoriously. I want to share with you another verse taken from, excuse me, sorry, I hit the wrong button on my phone. This is taken from First John chapter 5 and verse number 4. And this is how it reads. It says, "For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith." So we have things that are going to oppose us that are from the world, and predominantly the motivation behind those things is going to be fear. So anything that's fear based generally will be against faith. And remember this: freedom, a freed head or a freed mind comes when you live by faith, motivated by love and trust. When you're clouded in your understanding, it's because fear is present, and it will be what delays the outcome of what you desire. There are things in us that we desire. Everyone desires to do good. Everyone does. The worst person desires to do good. Now, we are not born this way in the sense of, I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. People who do wrong or do evil are not born that way. We are naturally born to do good or to want to do good. And when we take this battle, we see this battle taking place in Romans chapter 7, where the flesh and the spirit are fighting against each other. And you have the will that's involved, because that's your mind, your thinking that's involved with your decision making. So now, if your will is not trained to make right decisions, and how it's been trained by fear. Well, now you're going to be faced with some struggles in life. So now here's where we come in as believers. Jesus comes in our life. We know God gave us dominion from the beginning. Adam jacked it up, and Jesus came and fixed it. So we're in that position today, where today we are believers. We believe. We believe. And because we believe, we're taking what God says and we believe what it says, and it becomes the way we live. That means action now is taking place. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse number 7, very familiar verse to many Christians in our day. My pastor, Apostle Price, has made this his statement, closing, opening, and closing statements in his services. And this is how it reads. It says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." And I believe that we need to have some qualification. Excuse me just a second. I believe that we need to have some clarification with regards to the term sight. Now, if we take sight as the premise or the basis to what is understood as the five senses, this is not implying to us that we're not supposed to utilize our senses, because when we read what Hebrews says to us, that Hebrews chapter 5, verse, I believe is verse 14, that we're supposed to have our senses trained and exercised to discern both good and evil. This is where judgment comes in on our part, not judging somebody. I'm talking about using judgment in making decisions for our life. If of all the strengths that females want out of a man, so men, here's a little tidbit for you, is decisiveness, being decisive about where you're going in life, what you're doing, what is your purpose, what is your vision, what are your goals, what do you want in life. And if you do not, that is a place of insecurity, that is fear driven, and this is where pride comes into play, and that's the pride of life, and it will blind you from being able to see your full potential. And that's where it's important for us to understand that God made us to work, and he made us to live and work and live by faith. Faith is doing something. Faith is not a denomination. It is not a religion. What faith you are and what faith, what faith are you from? No, no, no. That is a misnomer. Faith is a way of life. Faith is a choice. Faith is a decision. Now, mind you, Mark 11:22 says, "And Jesus answered, said unto them, have faith in God," or have the God kind of faith. That being a command, a demand on what is already there. See, God is not gonna make you do something that he hasn't equipped you to do already. You've already been equipped with what you need in order to do what you need to do in the here and now for the physical thing to be manifested on our behalf. We need those things in this physical realm. We need to have clothing, food, shelter, and so forth. We need those things for this physical body. But relative to the spirit and what's going on in our heads, that's something that needs to be done individually, an individual responsibility. And it is there. It's the thing that is free to us. You have the freedom to utilize your mind. And that's a very powerful position to be in. So now, faith is a way to live. Faith is a way of life because God gave us this faith, and it is the norm. It is normal. It is a law. Romans 3:27 says that the law of faith, it refers to that. And now in reference to the law of faith, or what is the normal way of living, faith is creative. It generates, it discovers, it pushes, it keeps us in the place of soundness. It keeps us alive and aware. We live by faith. And if you think about it, what Romans 1:17 says, that the just shall live by faith. Faith is the means of productivity. Without faith, things will not be produced. It's okay to think, and you have to think about things, because I think of all the things, all the main reasons why things are not done in this earth realm is because men don't think. I say male and female. you know, it seems to be that it's on the man. Because females, if men are not thinking, what happens? Females will be on your case about you thinking. So thinking is important. Now, thinking is one thing, but now executing the thought, that's the main thing. Well, it takes faith to execute the thought. You have to have a plan of action. There has to be something that you're going to go from in order for you to make what that thought is in your head, that idea that has come into your mind, for a service, for a service basis. You're serving others, your family, and other people. Well, that's the norm. And it is the channel by which we produce. Now, one of the spoilers for that productivity is fear. Fear is an enemy. Fear and faith are total opposites. It's hot and cold. And I'm talking now 430 degrees below zero code. That has nothing to do with heat. Faith and fear have nothing to do with each other. Remember that perfect love casts out fear, that in God, God is love, and there is no fear in God. That means there is nothing lacking in God. The motivation behind lack is fear. The Lord is my shepherd, Psalms 23. I shall not lack. I shall not want. I shall not be in fear of provision. God makes the way for us. This is something that I want just to instill in you and to have in your hearts and minds, that God has given us this faith. It is ours to use, and it's the means by which we transmute what thoughts and ideas are. Faith is the way of life. So I want to thank you for taking the time to tune in. Giving you a good amount of information that I know will produce on your behalf and cause productivity. So keep on pressing toward the mark. Speaking from Faithwired Ministry, and if this be the case that you have joined us, and if you feel this ministry has been beneficial to you, by all means, if you wouldn't mind helping us support our ministry, you can do that by through the channel of Venmo, and you're giving to Faith Wired. And we do in advance thank you for your faithfulness and your loyalty to us. We appreciate your trust and confidence in the ministry of Faith Wired. So thank you for taking the time to join us, and we will see you on another day. Have a blessed one and enjoy your life.